So in today's video, I'm going to be answering some questions. I tweeted out that I'm going to be doing a Q&A. You know, just did the good old leave a reply and I'll answer it. So let's go and jump right into the questions. In the future, when I do these videos, I'll like Q&A videos or anything like that, I'll have the tweet like pop up like somewhere on the screen. But since I'm new to editing, new to kind of doing the whole YouTube thing, for now I'm just going to go ahead and read the tweet. If I can pronounce the person's name, I'll go ahead and say the person who tweeted it. Otherwise, I'll just read the question and kind of go from there. Alright, so the first question comes from Thomas. He asked, how would you feel about Halo 6 moving to PC? I've talked about this a bunch of my streams because it's always a question that kind of pops up. I'm not super against it. Honestly, I just want the best for Halo, and whatever that might be, I'm okay with. I'm not really concerned about like switching over to PC for like keyboard and mouse if that was the case, because I already play Counter-Strike, Fortnite, all those games. You know, it's a big switch. It would be a big switch for me, but it's just like I mentioned, for Halo 6 I'm more worried about the future compared to what I specifically would like. Big Matt 78 asked, what's your favorite thing about MLG coming back to Halo? I'm gonna actually have a separate video for this, talking about MLG, HCS, a bunch of like the formats and stuff like that. But really quick, I'll just kind of like give a brief answer. My favorite part or favorite thing of MLG and HCS working together again is I know that the event atmosphere is gonna be so cool. MLG, in my opinion, I mean, it's just my opinion, throws the absolute best events. You know, when I was growing up, the atmosphere is always so awesome. I'm excited to kind of have like that feel again at events. If you've been to Halo events recently, I think you would kind of agree or know that it's not the same feel as it used to be. So I'm hoping MLG will be able to bring that back. Berserk asked, what is the best mindset for winning even when you're down? I think the best mindset to have, especially for, I'll give you kind of an example for my team or what I always believe. I believe that no matter what the score is in a game, no matter what the situation is in a series, my team can always come back and win. You know, I don't care if we're on 20 kills in a Slayer, 2 caps in a flag, 2-0 in a series. The great thing about us, or again, my specific example, is we practice every single day. So we are very often, you know, whether we are down or not, we've often been in that situation before and know how to, you know, come back from it, or know how to just work our way back at least a little bit. So the best way to actually make the comeback is just to actually genuinely believe that you and your team can accomplish that. Ray asks, what has been the biggest challenge you faced being a pro gamer? Probably just the balance of just life in general. You know, I've talked about it a couple times, not in YouTube, but in streams and interviews and stuff. In the past, I was a full-time college student. This past semester, I went part-time. And then I actually took this semester off because there was nothing announced for Halo at the time, and I knew I was moving to Texas. So I couldn't like commit to classes when I didn't know the schedule, if that makes sense. Yeah, the biggest issue would just be balance, you know, whether it be family, friends, just all the above. Gaming has always been a very top priority for me. I've been doing this since, I mean, I've been a professional player since 13 years old. I'm now 22. If you ask anyone close to me in my life, it has always been the exact same, of gaming being just almost of the highest priority. So just finding the right balance of how to hang out with friends, how to spend time with family, how to do all these different things, you know, go to school, you know, live a healthy life. That's definitely been the biggest challenge for me. St. Nicholas asked, do you think Halo will go back to its roots like COD did with boots on the ground? I don't have an answer for that. Honestly, I hope it does, because I personally love the classic Halos more than, you know, this like new era, or, you know, what advanced movement, whatever you want to call it. I just want the best for Halo. If that is like, you know, back to roots, which I think it probably would be, then that's what I want to go to. I just want whatever is best. Like I mentioned in a previous question, to me, it's not as much of a difference. I like Halo 5. It's not the Halo I fell in love with, but I do think it's still a good game. I just want whatever is best. That's all there is to it for me. So apparently my memory card ran out of space, so I'm just gonna go ahead and continue the video as normal. I just figured I'd save this in case, I don't know. Jacqueline asks, what drives you to do what you do? What motivates you? I think the biggest thing when it comes to this question, there's a lot of different factors, but the biggest thing for me is that I know where I am and I know where I want to be. I know the goals I want to accomplish, and usually, for me at least, especially with gaming or like school related, all it really comes down to is just being consistent, being dedicated. you know, for let's say gaming as an example, you know, if I have a goal to win a tournament, the only thing that I have to do, or the best way to make that happen, is just to practice every single day. So it's really easy to be, for me, it's really easy to be motivated on the day-to-day basis, because I know that every day I'm putting in work is one step closer, basically, to my end goal. So I think that's the easiest way. Same thing with school. You know, when it comes to studying, people hate studying. I definitely am a part of that, but at the same time, you know, if you study, if you do your homework, etc., usually good grades are what follow. Samaritan asks, what best advice could you give amateur teams that aspire to go pro? Honestly, when it comes to this, I'll probably like do a separate video for this and talk about it, but I think the biggest thing you can do is, one, if you're just talking about yourself, pay close attention to your attitude. The second would be watch a lot of streams. A lot of YouTube videos, like for Halo 5 specifically, or whatever Halo you're gonna go pro in, Halo 6. When I went pro, it's pretty underrated, Twitch streams, because when I went pro, they weren't around. I mean, simple as that. In Halo 2, early Halo 3, it just wasn't a thing. I think now to be able to find a playstyle that is similar to yours, and then be able to go study that gameplay, is a huge factor that I don't think many people take advantage of. So definitely, if you're one of those people that maybe don't watch enough streams, change that as soon as possible. Emma asked, what is your first video game you have memories of playing? Probably Halo 1. I thought about this question a little bit more than I think other questions, because it was kind of like tough to think about. I think Halo 1 was the first game that I actually just remember playing. I remember landing it every single day with my cousin and like a bunch of his friends, a couple of my friends, literally landing it every single day. A lot of people kind of like start later. I was 6 years old landing Halo 1, so I've been doing this a very long time. I'm sure there were other games that I played first, like Pokemon or something like that, but Halo 1 is the first game I have a really strong memory of just actually playing, kind of practicing. Gavin asks, when you and your team go to the event, do you practice at the event? If so, how do you guys practice? We actually don't. We're a pretty rare case for most teams. We don't enjoy practicing at events, because usually a lot of teams practice to warm up. That's the best way I could explain. A lot of teams practice to warm up to make sure they're ready to go. For us, I think we're just all really perfectionists, to the point where if we were just playing to warm up, we're not gonna go as hard as we would in a normal match. So what's worked for us for warming up is just to hop into an FFA or a 2v2 warm up or something like that, and just kind of make sure our shot's good, and then the rest kind of follows. Other teams definitely will like schedule scrims with each other, or you know, just maybe sit at the warm-up station and wait for a team to follow up. But we're the opposite of that. Definitely a rare case though. For as long as I've been competing, it's a very rare case to find 4 people who just don't want to scrim on the day that you're playing. Steve asked, what's next? Will you continue competing, or will you stop? And if so, what are you planning to do? This is a tough question, just for the simple fact that it's too much to talk about in reality. The way I've kind of explained it in streams or interviews and stuff is I plan on competing for as long as I enjoy it. A lot of people don't really believe me when I say that, for the simple fact that like people think that because you're making an income off of something, it's what you will do no matter what. Like, you know, I know I'm super lucky to be able to compete in a video game, you know, Halo 5 obviously being my video game, and you know, get a salary, get prize money, all that stuff. But if I didn't genuinely enjoy it, I wouldn't do it, especially now. You know, I've been super lucky. We've won 2 worlds. Like, I feel like gaming for me is at a point where if I wanted to stop competing, when I look back on this period of my life, I don't think it'll be something I like regret. I think that I continued to progress in school, business, you know, gaming as a profession, etc. I've managed to kind of progress all aspects of my life, even while still competing. So it's one of those things I don't think I'll look back on the last 10 years and regret. So when I stop enjoying it is when I say I would stop competing. Super cliche answer, but it's the truth. Truffles asks, at what point in your gaming lifetime did you realize that you had the godlike talent to take this hobby of yours into the next level? I think I realized it early on in Halo 2. My first ever event, I was 11 years old. It was 2006 playoffs for Halo 2. I competed in the FFA. My friend kind of like talked myself and my parents into going to this, you know, MLG event, and I ended up getting, it was either 6th or 7th round in the FFA. And at the time, you know, I remember like Thursday, because we got there at my friend's house. He lived in the area, luckily, so we didn't have to pay for a hotel. we got there on Thursday, and I remember like my friend's mom even like kind of being like, you know, you think you're gonna compete against these people that like get paid to do this, etc. And you know, to be able to come back, we went on Friday to compete, and then on Friday, you know, my friend got knocked out early on, and I had to go back on Saturday. So I think it was one of those things where I was really lucky to do so well early on, where not only I proved to myself that I could do it, but I also kind of think my parents realized, like after watching and seeing how far I went, it's like, okay, he's not just doing this as a hobby or just for fun, like there's something actually here. So I would say really early on for me, obviously that's not the case for the average person or most people, but I was really fortunate to just see the smallest amount of success early on to where I could justify continue doing it. All right guys, that is gonna be the end of the video. I appreciate all of the questions on Twitter so much. I think we hit like over 200 questions or something, all absolutely incredible. If I didn't answer your question, feel free to maybe leave it in the comments section, and if I can, or if it's not too long of a paragraph, you know, I could type it out and maybe answer it there. I appreciate the support this year on streaming, YouTube, everything, supporting the team, appreciate it so much. Yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.